Hello everyone, my name is Alexandra Guffey, and this is my Learning Theory Transmediation assignment. After reading the given information in the module, I have learned a lot about the TEC Variety Framework. TEC Variety Framework encourages educators not to focus only on one particular motivational technique or strategy for facilitating intrinsic motivation, but rather to consider a combination of strategies and how to combine them meaningfully. There are 10 principles that educators can put to work either singly or using 2 or more together. And the 10 principles, the first one would be tone/climate. The second one is encouragement. The third one would be curiosity. The fourth one is variety. The fifth one is autonomy. Number 6 is relevance. Number 7 was interactivity. Number 8 was engagement. And number 9 was tension. And number 10 was yielding products. And all of these together are what makes the TEC Variety Framework. The more integrated and coordinated the elements in the instructional design, the more likely they are to sustain learner intrinsic motivation. And that is what all of this information has been about, is how to be meaningful with our learners online and have motivation. The learning theories that were discussed in the TEC Variety Framework information included 4. The first would be behaviorism, second was cognitivism, third was constructivism, and then the fourth was the sociocultural learning theory. Behaviorism in regards to the TEC Variety Framework, the instructor is the dispenser of rewards and punishments, while learners are mere passive respondents. Important in this idea of external manipulation is that external stimuli can affect student motivation to learn. That behaviorism learning theory is the famous Pavlov with the motivation and rewards. And cognitivism, a cognitive approach leveraged the processing and multimedia capabilities of the computer to present information in different modes, textual, verbal, or visual, different multimedia, and to allow learners to explore such material according to their personal needs. And under constructivism, the TEC Variety Framework reflects the important principles of this learning theory, specifically that of setting the appropriate tone or climate in the class, adding a variety of interesting tasks, and using tension or challenge to facilitate learner interaction and exploration of course materials. And the sociocultural learning theory, as online learning becomes increasingly global, especially since the COVID-19 pandemic, it is critical for online lecturers to be culturally sensitive in their tasks and examples. In order to ensure the success of all learners, effective online educators acknowledge the cultural capital and contribution that each student brings into the learning context. And this is a table that I found very important out of the textbook, how the theories, the 4 learning theories, behaviorism, cognitivism, constructivism, and the sociocultural, how that applies to the TEC Variety Framework. So just by looking here, it's a very self-explanatory chart. Encouragement is under behaviorism and yielding products. As you can see, behaviorism does not have very many, while the others have quite a few. So I found this a very good visual for kind of putting those pieces together for the learning theories and the principles of the TEC Variety Framework. One principle and activity that I chose and found interesting in the information that I read was the tone and the climate, and the activity was the 2 truth and 1 lie. This activity for building a climate-rich and socially shared knowledge is a fun and sometimes challenging one. In this activity, students must post 2 truths about themselves and 1 statement that is a lie. The students in the course or module must attempt to determine which piece of information is a lie and which items are truthful. They can guess this after asking questions or exploring online information such as social media. Along the way, they will learn interesting facts about each other, which may come in handy in later group activities. And such shared knowledge might be used later during the semester as a means to boost student curiosity and engagement in the course. I personally have seen this used in upper grades, as in high school and college level courses. And I've also seen this used in a corporate setting, as during training, they use a tooth, truth, and a lie as sort of an icebreaker to help everyone get used to each other. I participated in an online corporate training during COVID, and this was one of the activities that we did to try to get to know each other through the computer because we were not in person with one another. So I enjoyed this activity, and I think it helped us to connect as a team before actually starting to work together. Okay, the next principle, which was principle 6 in the TEC variety framework, was relevance. And the activity was instructor online video demonstrations. I personally am a visual learner, so I love to watch things being done. I'm hands-on. I can read something and it does not click with me as well as it would if I was watching a demonstration of this. So like the skills and objective for this includes analysis and evaluation skills, reflection, grasping visual cues, forming conceptual linkages, and a deeper understanding of the course context. The goal is to extend student learning beyond prepackaged course materials or lectures developed and delivered by the instructor. That is important to me as well. I like when an instructor kind of veers off the course of what's laid out and just kind of makes it their own personal attribution to the course. Such content will appeal to students who are visual learners like me, as well as those who prefer multimodal learning activities to solely text-based ones. The use of shared online video clips often elevates the class discussion and brings the class community to life. Concepts and ideas that were once difficult to explain or grasp now begin to make sense to students. Importantly, because many video segments are relatively short, instructors do not have to give up much class time. As an elementary educator, I loved using video demonstrations as a beginning to a lesson. It helped to grab their attention more. It held their interest longer. They enjoyed watching kind of a cool, fun video of what they were about to be learning about, and they didn't even realize that it was educational. It made it fun. For example, we did a money and a time lesson, and I found a really good video that had a song and music, and it got them interested in it so much that after we did the lesson, they just wanted to watch the video again. It was 2 or 3 minutes long, and it just helped them to remember what was taught. And this can also apply to instructional design in the corporate field, as I had mentioned earlier. Okay, and then the next principle was engagement, and the activity was exploring animations and simulations. This specifically works well in like a science class, upper science, even middle school science I've used in a middle school classroom. The skills and objective include empathy, visual discrimination skills, reflection, learner involvement, visual encoding of information, and application of what was learned. Advice and ideas for this activity is to conduct literature reviews and online searches for animations and simulations in your discipline. Animations and simulations can be powerful learning tools. Make sure that they match your course learning goals and objectives. Also consider focusing student search and use with guiding questions and activities. Also during COVID, we transitioned to this in the school system where we couldn't really go on field trips, couldn't be too involved in the lab because of social distancing. So we were able to find a lot of online simulations. While it didn't replace the hands-on lab activities, it was a great way to still have students involved and interested in what we were trying to show them. Okay, and that is all for today.